welcome into Field of 68 2024 NBA Draft Prospect Profiles. And I'm here with former NBA player Shelvin Mack, now with CBS Sports Network, to break down the game of Isaiah Collier, USC freshman. These profiles presented by Unified Healing. And Shelvin, all right, you know Isaiah Collier well.
Yes.
Right? You've known him for years. You've worked him out. You know him. He's from the Atlanta area. He goes all the way out to USC. And, man, he is talented. He's got the physical tools. Didn't have a great freshman season at USC. Got injured midway through the year. Let's start with Collier's his biggest strengths. What would you say pops off the page when you watch Isaiah Collier?
So knowing Isaiah and being around for a few years now, going back to my AAU program, he was one of our star players. The biggest thing he has is his best asset is his ability to pass the ball. He's one of the best passers that you'll find in this year's draft, and I think also in the NBA. He has a gift of playing with other players and making them better. At a young age, a lot of times when you're a good player, you can't make everyone else around you better. But he has that gift and the ability. He's able to show that at the McDonald's All-Star game. And then this past year was kind of tough with people coming in and out of the lineup, himself being hurt. But you see towards the end of the season, he got a lot better at it and, taking care of the ball.
I loved watching him, especially I saw the McDonald's game. I was there. And again, his speed with the ball too. That to me stuck out for me from end line to end line. He can really go. And like you said, and we'll talk about his weaknesses and maybe, ability to take care of the ball, some of those things. But to me, his speed at his size with his athleticism, to me, really popped.
It definitely pops. It reminds me a lot of John Wall when he first came into the league. I don't think he's that explosive as John. John was a freakish athlete, could jump off either leg at any given time. When he has the ball, he forces everyone else on the team to run. He pushes the pace. And he's a lot faster with the ball than without the ball. A lot of times people say that. When we actually get able to watch him and see him in transition, it stands out.
We'll go on to the weaknesses a little bit, because I think one of the things, and it's not a weakness, it's almost a misnomer for him, that because he went to USC, because he was part of that team that wasn't very successful, because he was with Bronny James and that whole, I don't want to say shit show, but it wasn't what people thought it was going to be. I think he got a reputation that probably wasn't fair as far as who he is. Can you speak to kind of who Isaiah Collier is off the court? Because you know him better than most.
Yeah, he's a great person. I think he's a winner. A lot of people get that confused. In Georgia, I think he won 4 state high school champions. And that's at Willer High School where Jaylen Brown went. Sharif Abdul-Rahim went. He's one of those guys that always want to win, compete. The year before, having no injury, 6 a.m. in there working every single night, making sure you get his knee and body together. But I just think a lot went on at USC. It started with them having an overseas trip beginning of the year, beginning of the summer. They was gelling, able to get wins and thinking stuff is going to come easy. Then you have Bronny with his accident. Then you have to fill it in. It's a guy that has to play. You got to figure out as a coach to plug him in and play in the right time. Then also you have Boogie Ellis, super senior. It's my team. I've been here for a while. I got to get my stuff done. There's a lot of stuff that's mixed together, but I'm glad that he handled it well. A lot of people would have folded and crushed, and it shows you a lot about him. Being hurt, projected a top 10 pick, and still want to come back and play. A lot of people shut it down, and we've seen that before. I'm top 10 pick. I'm not playing. I'm done. But he was able to come back, compete, and want to show everyone his ability and skill sets.
Yeah, he was a guy that a lot of people pegged as the number 1 overall pick.
Yes, he definitely started the season off. He was number 1. That's why it's very important. Winning. A lot of people like winners. If you can't win in college, it might be tough at the next level. But I think everyone understands the situation over there at USC.
So one of the things, he was listed at 6'5", USC.
Yeah.
And then I always love watching these. I don't remember what you were listed at coming out of Butler. But Collier listed at 6'5". He goes to the combine. 6'2.5" without shoes. So
Yeah.
not quite that big. He's not 6'5", but he's still, listen, nobody's going to look at his physical tools and say like, all right, he didn't measure up. Like he's still, 6'3", big, strong, athletic. The big knock on him, Shelvin, well, two of them, I think, would be shooting, perimeter shot, and
Yes.
number two, taking care of the basketball. He had a high turnover rate. Sometimes he goes for the home run pass a little too much. Am I wrong with those two things being two of the areas that you've continued to talk to him about to get better?
I would definitely agree with that. No, the shooting is one thing. It takes time. You're not going to be the perfect shooter. The biggest thing is don't force it. A lot of people understand your strengths and weakness. That's the reason why you got to this level. There's no one playing the country with a jump shot that needs work. So number one player on a mock draft, jump shot that needs work. It's okay. Just continue to work at it and get better. The turnovers is decision making. As you get older, I've had to learn myself playing at the NBA. Everyone can't catch the ball all the time. The NBA players. As you become a point guard, you got to understand that basketball IQ part. You don't want to give the big the ball in a certain situation where he's not comfortable and it's a turnover, because sometimes he does catch it in turnover. It's still your turnover as a point guard. And, hit singles. Coming down the court, easy pass, just throw it ahead. You don't have to throw a crazy bounce pass and try to be on Sports Center. But I think it's something as a freshman that you learn. And then also playing at USC, it's a lot of hype and crowd. You have celebrities at every single game. So you want to do something spectacular and stand out. And I think when he was hurt, he was able to sit back and look at it from a distance and able to see how to play college basketball. And that's when his turnovers start to go down.
Yeah, I mean, he averaged about 16 points, 4 assists. The big thing, he shot 34% from three. Big thing was, turnovers, almost 3.5 a game. More turnovers than assists is something you never want. This is a point guard.
Yeah.
You never want that. You want it the other way. You want kind of 2-to-1 assist to turnover ratio. So is that going to be something that just over time, that they're going to teach him in the NBA? Hey, listen, you can't take those chances until you're a little bit more of a veteran. You understand what you can get away with?
Yes, and I think some of us playing with better players. Sometimes when you throw the pocket pass, at the NBA level, a guy can catch it. In college, you might be thinking this or thinking that. This is the level he's projected on, not on the same page. It could lead to an easy turnover. Shooting, let's talk about shooting 50% from the field. As a guy who people question his jump shot, that's very impressive. He's able to get to his spots, pick and choose. Even though the defense wants to go under, he can still beat you there to the rim. He's comfortable at shooting jump shots. I think a little bit this past year during the season, his percentage kind of dipped because he was shooting bad ones at times. Transition, pull up threes is like it's not the strength, and that's not what we want to see. Everyone always trying to prove someone wrong instead of just being great at what you was doing. That's when he started to learn.
And really, 34 from three. If you had told me he was going to shoot 34% from three his freshman year, I would have said like that I'd take that from Isaiah Collier, right?
Yes, definitely with the team they have, and it wasn't a lot of shooting on the perimeter for them. Boogie can make shots, but they're tough shots. It's not like this space on the floor, catch and shoot. There's none of that. It's bop, 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 get my shot up.
Whether you are a world-class athlete or a podcaster like me, we all understand the importance of mental and physical well-being and proper recovery for top-notch performance. After a 6-month season loaded with cross-country travel, I can promise you that proper recovery is a priority for me these days. That's why I'm excited that Unified Healing is sponsoring this episode of The Field of 68. Unified Healing is a new and super innovative global network of wellness centers powered by Energy Enhancement System, or the EE system. If you haven't heard of the EE system yet, you'll want to listen up. This technology promotes wellness, deep relaxation, purification, and rejuvenation. Whether you're here in New Jersey or at one of the hundreds of other locations across the globe, access to a center is easy and affordable. If you're interested in experiencing the EE system technology for yourself, go to unifiedhealing.com/unified68 to learn more and find a center near you. That's UNIFYD healing.com/UNIFYD, the number 6, The number 8. No material or testimonials on the Unified Healing website are intended to be viewed as medical advice or as a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified healthcare provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition or treatment and before undertaking a new healthcare regimen, including the EE system.
I mean, he's so good in transition. That's the thing you see with Isaiah Collier is the pressure he can put on you as a point guard, pushing the ball, and even in the half court, right? Like he can get in the lane and make things happen. And if he is able to develop that perimeter shot, like you just see a guy that again has such a high upside. You mentioned one name that definitely comes to mind. And I saw John Wall when he was, probably his first summer on the AU circuit. So I remember that speed. Is it John Wall? Is this somebody else? Give me the NBA comps that hit you when you watch them.
So I see John Wall, and I also see a lot of Reggie Jackson when he was at OKC, coming out of Boston College. Getting in the mid range, very comfortable with the ball, pace. It can play with, like I said, his biggest thing is playing with better players. The better the players are, the better he's going to play. His performance is not going to dip. Reggie Jackson did that when he went to OKC. Playing with James Harden, Westbrook, and Kevin Durant, his game elevated. When he went to Detroit, kind of went down a little bit, but that is what it is. It's playing with good players. But Isaiah's transition, as you watch NBA players right now, pace is a big thing. He can continue to play at a high pace over and over again, able to push the ball and make everyone run with him. He's able to flatten the defense out. And that's what you want at a point guard at this level. And it's going to be special to actually see him with the space that he kind of needs. EYBL, you can't kind of have the NBA rules and you're able to see it. And that's why he was able to rise to the number 1 spot.
His stock is fallen, no doubt. Like nobody's got him in the mix at the number 1 spot anymore right now. Probably, it sounds like somewhere in that like 10 range.
Mm-hmm.
Is that at all beneficial for him in a way to have less pressure on him coming in?
I would think so. Also, there's not too many guards at 6'3" and under that goes number 1. I think it was D Rose might have been the only one. I know John's like 6'4", kind of tall, and they won a lot. But being able to come into a situation when you later in the draft is very important. This USC number 1 player going, there's a lot of expectation. Expect someone to come in and do something right away. Even this year, whoever's the number 1 pick, there's not a guy that's going to be able to get you just 20 points by themselves, ISO like Paulo is able to do, and change your organization from day 1.
Hey, when you look at him compared to like a Scoot Henderson,
yes,
give me kind of your thoughts, because Scoot was, listen, he went high last year. Are they similar in terms of? And I didn't see a ton of Scoot coming out of Overtime Elite or G League. I forget which one he was in. One of those two. I didn't see a ton of them, but I know he wasn't a great shooter. He was a freak athlete, big, strong, athletic, quick, all that. Are they similar?
I would say they're different. Scoot's more like a Russell Westbrook. The way he plays, his athletic ability, his tenacity on the court. I think Scoot, this person in his situation this year in Orlando, is just injuries. He's coming in, supposed to play with Simons. Simons is going to take a lot of load off of him, but he was hurt. And, it forced Scoot to be the man. It's hard to do that coming in as a rookie. That's why he had multiple games with a lot of turnovers. But I would say Zay is completely different. Scoot's more wired as a scorer, when Isaiah's more of a pass-first point guard. I think that's the biggest difference. So when you're coming in around the 8 and 14 slot, usually you have a guy on your team who can score already. So I think he'd be a great complementary piece to get someone over the hump. I can get easy baskets for everyone else on the team.
All right, so give me the best case and the worst case scenario as you see for Isaiah Collier. And I know it's hard, but is he a guy that if he hits it, is he an NBA All-Star type? Could he be, or is that shooting too high?
I would say he could definitely be NBA All-Star. especially the way the game's flowing, the possessions, be able to get the stats up. I think I can definitely see that. And also, he can be a sixth man on a really good playoff team. I think he can come in and change the pace for different teams and whatever it has to be. I think his biggest asset, we keep working on it, and being able to lock in defensively. Now, he has all the tools, the athletic ability, is making it difficult for other point guards. I think what separate him in the NBA.
Yeah, we haven't really talked about his defense, but like
Yeah.
if he wants to,
yeah.
if he wants to, there's not much he can't do defensively, right? I mean, how well he moves laterally, how big and strong and physical he can be, right? Like there isn't much he's not able to do on the defensive end. It's more just actually locking into it, and they didn't demand that of him at USC.
Yeah, so I definitely agree. It's more of a mindset, and like he has the ability to guard one and two, sometimes three man. The way the game's going with small ball lineup, the physical tools with that, and just picking up full court. I'm watching these NBA finals. It's like on the playoffs. It's the first time in a while that I'm seeing multiple teams are literally picking up 90, 95, 94 feet.
Right.
Every possession. It's nothing easy walking into your set. Everyone's just locked in.
Yeah, with you, they just let you, they let you advance the ball. They didn't get up in you. None of that. It was easy for you.
It was definitely easier for me. I didn't have a 6'7" athletic guy always guarding me. No, times have changed.
They have. All right. There you have it. The breakdown from former NBA player Sheldon Mack on Isaiah Collier. Field of 68 2024 NBA Draft Prospect Profiles. You can find them all over the Field of 68, presented by Unified Healing.